gotta be aware of the college basketball that is going on Monday night. Not a lot of games, only one game that involves a top 25 team, but there are still some big programs that are playing, like Stanford, Oregon in the Pac-12, Maryland, Indiana in the Big Ten, uh, West Virginia, Oklahoma State in the Big 12. Which of these games do you really like, Brett?
Well, I think the earliest of them is what excites me, but basically because I like anything that starts before 7 p.m., Higgins. So a 5 p.m. Eastern tip between Stanford and Oregon here. Actually, it might even be a little earlier than that, but an afternoon tip between Stanford and Oregon State. Count me in. I will be on this game. I'm going to take the home team, Oregon State, getting points because I just think an early tip on a weekday, like, you just never know how the visiting team's going to react. I mean, you never really know how either team's going to react, but I'm always going to take the home dog in that spot. I like the
Yeah.
home dog in that spot.
Tips off at noon local time, so 3 p.m. your time. Make sure to get that bet in before you head to work, maybe, Brett, because that's a few hours earlier than you were anticipating for a second. I kind of agree with that early midweek home dog philosophy that you have there. It makes sense. Kind of what I'm taking here. My game's not necessarily an early midday game. I'm taking the prime time top 25 matchup between number 9 West Virginia and Oklahoma State. But this is a great Big 12 matchup between an 8-3 program and a 7-2 program that should both be fighting for the top of the Big 12 this year potentially. I think Oklahoma State is going to win this game, though. So I'm taking them on the money line, Brett. Not necessarily on the spread, on the money line. And that's because West Virginia, they most recently lost to Oklahoma. They also lost to Kansas. Their wins, I guess they got a good win against Iowa State and Richmond. But Oklahoma State's most recent win was an overtime win against Texas Tech. They've played some better quality opponents in terms of getting those wins, and overall, each of these teams are about 500 against the spread, and the spread's basically a pick 'em. It moved from a pick 'em to like a 1.5 game, I think. So, Oklahoma State, the hometown dog, Big 12 matchup, why not?
Yeah, this is a situation where Oklahoma State is probably has the better player. But West Virginia may be the more complete team in this instance. So I'm excited to watch this game, Higgins, but no, I have no problem with you backing the best player on the court. I think that's very fair. You did it in the NBA with Trey Young. You're doing it with Oklahoma State. I think that's a fair strategy, especially in a sport like basketball where one player can really control so much.
And another stat against the spread. I know I'm betting on the money line, but this line is so close to a pick 'em that you can use some of this data from the against the spread for a money line pick. For example, West Virginia on the road so far this year, 0-3 against the spread. Oklahoma State as an underdog, 3-0 against the spread. And two of those three games they won outright. The Texas Tech game, Wichita State game, Texas Tech game and the Marquette game. Both of those games they were underdogs and they ended up overall winning. They did lose to Texas, but they were a 6.5 point underdog, so they still covered. That's the only other time that they were an underdog against the spread. But like I said, 1.5 points, not enough to get me interested on the spread, so you're going to find me on the money line here.